It is that time of the month again where I go through all the books I have read this month, and let me tell you, I did not have the greatest reading month. I only read 7 books, which is not a lot for me, especially recently, and I feel like lately a lot of these books have just been meh, which is causing me to kind of go into a little bit of a slump, which we're hoping is going to be very temporary. So like I said, I read a total of 7 books, 2 of which were thrillers, 3 were romance, and 2 were fiction, I believe. We're just gonna hop straight into it. If you are interested in any of the books that I'll be saying in this video, they'll be linked down in the description as always. But let's get into some of my reads. One of my friends is super into Taylor Jenkins Reid books, so I've been trying to read a lot of her backlist and just kind of get the feel of her writing, and I've been really enjoying it. So I finally picked up Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Her books, and specifically this one, I remember being super hyped up a few years ago. Maybe it was more than a few years ago, I don't know. But I wound up giving it 4.5 stars. This book actually took you for a lot of different twists and turns, and at first I gotta say the only reason why it's not a 5-star for me, well, one of the reasons I guess, is because at the beginning it's very almost confusing because you're getting so many different plot lines from all these different people and you have no idea how exactly they connect. So once you figure out how they all connect, it makes so much more sense, which maybe that was on me. Yeah, that was probably on me for also not reading the back of the book. I am notorious for not reading the back of the book and just kind of going into a book. I just want to see what it's about. I want to be surprised. I don't want to know anything about it. I don't want anything spoiled about it. But we are mostly following Nina and her story. We are kind of getting a lot of different subplots as well through all of her siblings and her mom's story, her dad's story. Her dad is a famous singer. Her mom was kind of left in the dust with all these different kids, some of which were not even hers. And we're also following kind of a now and then timeline, but I love the way that it was done in this one. I feel like it all connects, and I love how the very first chapter also connects to the very last chapter. I love it when that happens in books. I'm very excited to read more of her work. I just feel like it does have some sort of like romance element. It might have some other subgenres mixed into it, but for the most part I just love, well, maybe this isn't fiction actually, maybe this is literature. I'm gonna have to fact check myself on that one, so whatever's on the screen is what this genre is, but I'm really loving it and I definitely need to pick up more of her books. So the next book I picked up, once in a while I'll kind of just go and scroll through Libby, which is just a free audiobook app that I can get through my library since I have a library card, and I'll kind of just pick up a random book, don't know anything about it, I kind of will just pick it based off the cover or the title or just whatever, and sometimes it really works out in my favor and other times it doesn't work out so well. So I picked up The Bookshop on the Corner by Jenny Colgan, and I have very mixed thoughts on this book. Basically, we are following our main character as she quits her job and goes out to live her dream. She buys this huge, obnoxiously large van and she converts it into a little bookshop. And she also travels to a bunch of different countries. She goes by train to, I believe it was Scotland, so you also have like the Scottish accent in there, which I enjoyed that part. I actually really did. But there was a lot of plot points that were very confusing, and I don't really know how to explain this one. There was a lot of like really sweet parts. It talked about honestly some kind of harder subjects as well. I just don't think that this book was for me. I do believe it's also part of a series, so I probably more than likely will not be continuing the series. I gave this 2.5 stars. I'd probably lower it to 2 stars at this point. It just wasn't for me, and that's a-okay. I feel like a lot of these books were just not for me this month, but it's okay because we're gonna change that in August. We're gonna have some really good reads in August. I'm gonna manifest it, because if not, then I will be put into a book slump. Next up, I actually continued on with another series, which has been a big goal of mine this year, is to stop starting series, which that I have not been successful on, but continuing and finishing series, which I have also kind of been successful on. So I continued the Truly Devious series with The Hand on the Wall by Maureen Johnson. This one wasn't too bad. I still have to say that Truly Devious was my favorite just because of the setting and the way that it was built was so nice. And I also will say this is a perfect fall book, which considering it is summer right now, maybe not the greatest, but this I think overall this series is just not my favorite, so maybe me rating it and continuing to read it is not the most fair, but I am kind of invested and I want to see where it goes. I gave this book 3 stars. I'd probably also lower it now. I just feel like we uncovered so much in this one that it's very confusing to me why there's another 2 or 3 books in this series. And this is already book 3, so this is going to be a very long mystery series. It is also YA, and I feel like I'm at a point where I'm kind of growing out of YA books, which is kind of sad, but I just need to learn to not pick up YA anymore, even though I have a bunch on my TBR over here. The book before this, what was the second one called? On my shelf. The Vanishing Stair. I feel like that book was almost pointless. Like, we didn't get anywhere, we didn't do anything, we were just going around in circles the entire time, which to a point that's needed in a thriller, but not an entire book. It was not needed. This book had a little more purpose to it, which I was very thankful for, but I'm just very confused where we're gonna go from here, because yes, we still have a few more things to solve, but I feel like it almost could have been wrapped up in this one. Maybe I'll find out the reason why in the next book whenever I get to that one. But yeah, it was alright. I think the cover's cute, but that's... Overall, it was another just kind of read. Next up, I picked up another Frida McFadden book. Her books to me are just potato chip books. Like, I just pick them up whenever I need something that's super fast paced, something that I don't want to take seriously. I'm just there to be entertained, you know? So I picked up The Locked Door, and I actually gave it 4 stars. Again, I'd probably lower it a little bit by now. All of these I'm just lowering as I'm reviewing them. This one was probably my favorite, or maybe my second favorite book of hers yet, so far at least. I think I've picked up maybe 5 books by her. Like I said, potato chip books whenever I just need something fun, easy. She's kind of my go-to lately. I will say, definitely check the trigger warnings on this one, because she does talk about some very vivid imagery, some very yucky topics, if you will, for lack of a better word. That's all I can come up with. But I actually really like this one. I feel like it really dug deep into the whole psychological aspect, and it also has to deal with her father being a serial killer. So that was actually kind of interesting to me. Don't ask me why I enjoy reading about it, but I know I'm not the only one. Overall, I enjoyed this one. It was a little bit above the meh rating for me, which was good. Much appreciated. Oh, and then we go to this next one. I should have DNF'd it. I don't know what I was thinking. I apparently was not thinking. Okay. I picked up If We Ever Meet Again by Anna Huang, and this was a solid 1 star. If I could give it 0 stars, I would. This has a plot twist midway through that is my least favorite thing to happen in a romance book. You could probably guess what it is. I don't know why. I don't know why I kept reading it. I really don't have an answer to that one. Beautiful cover. I absolutely love the cover, but as beautiful as the cover is, I will not be keeping this book. This will be going back to Half Price Books. Guess there was a reason why it was there in the first place. This doesn't give anything away, but this is actually part of a series, and the next book also follows this exact same couple, so as you can probably tell, it's not the happiest of endings. It started out alright. I actually enjoyed maybe the first 30% of it, and then afterwards, just some of the decisions of our male main character in this one were very questionable, and no. I've also read the Twisted series by her, and I gotta say the first book I didn't enjoy, but I don't think I'll be continuing this series because of how this one started out. But then again, I did not enjoy Twisted Love, but then I enjoyed the other 3. So I don't know. I'm just very conflicted on why I read this one. Not my greatest life decision. But you know what? That's really all I got to say about this one. I like the setting, and that was about it. Continuing on, this one's actually kind of funny because I have started this book so many times, but I just really couldn't get into it, and it is In the Weeds by B.K. Borison. This is also continuing another series, which is the Lovelight Farms, or Lovelight series. I think it's the Lovelight series. I read the first one, obviously, when it was Christmas time, because that only makes sense, and as you can tell, this is a spring book, which I know, we're in the middle of summer, but I just wanted to read it, and I figured I didn't want to wait until next spring to get to it, so I finally read it and I'm very, very happy that I did. I give this book 3.5 stars. I feel like it was more of a me problem than the book problem that I just didn't get into it. I've been trying to finish this book since March, and we are practically in August by the time that this video is going to be going up. But once I actually did get into it, maybe about halfway through, then it was really fast-paced. But I think what's also fun about this one is that you get little glimpses of the two characters in the first book, and I just love that with the interconnected series. I just love it. It's one of those books that I'm glad that I read it, but I'm also kind of glad that I am finished with it. Feel like that's how I feel about a lot of these books. But I feel like Beckett was also a really fun male main character. He was kind of different than a lot of the guys that you read about. He wasn't cocky, he wasn't mean or arrogant or anything like that. He was very gentle and kind, and you need to kind of get to know him to really understand him, and I like that aspect about him. But yeah, this one was a fun one. And lastly, about damn time that I read this one. I picked up The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. I've only ever read Love Theoretically by her, and for some reason I just did not vibe with the male main character in that one, but this one I enjoyed a lot more. And it's such perfect timing because as I was reading this, I think it was the next day or a few days afterwards that I finished it, they announced the movie and who was going to be playing the two main characters, and I think they're absolutely perfect. Like, they really fit. Growing up, I have always loved romance books, and I've also always have loved science. I love so many different aspects of it, so hearing about it in this one is very, very fun. And especially like a lot of her books, I feel like there's a very common theme of STEM and women in STEM specifically. I gave this 4.25 stars. This one was actually a pretty good one. Oops, Jesus. I did not mean to throw you. I'm so sorry. I'm not sure about the kissing people on the cover. It's not entirely my favorite cover of choice, but I'm so glad that I finally got to this one. I do want to read more of her books. Let me know if you guys recommend any of them, because I've heard mixed opinions on some of them, but this one I feel like is genuinely a lot of people's favorite by her. I also really loved the writing style. I feel like it's very fast-paced, but she fits in everything that she needs to in the right amount of pages. Overall, I'd recommend it. So those were the 7 books that I read in the month of July, right? Yeah, July, okay. I feel like time is just flying by at an insanely fast rate. I can't keep up with what day it is, what month it is, I have no idea. But if you guys enjoyed my what not to read video, and just want to see more fun reading content coming soon, don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.